Let's start with the case for Mike Mussina. You both voted for him. Certainly he is trending in the right direction. What do you think Wednesday's results showed for Mike Mussina?
Yeah, good. He continues to move forward, and I think he probably gets there, if not next year, certainly the year after. He's got some years to go still. And I don't feel as strongly about him as Anthony does. I feel like he's one of those guys, when I watched him, he wasn't a slam dunk for me for sure. But when you really can stop and consider, you have to consider the fact that he did pitch in the steroid era. Offensive numbers were more inflated than any time in history. And he pitched in the AL East. So you put the numbers together with his overall, the length of his career. To me, I had to go ahead and...
You don't say it with much conviction, John. a much more convincing argument for Mike Mussina.
Eamon, this guy was one of the best pitchers in the American League for the length of his career. And let's be honest, he pitched in the AL East, which was this huge power division with great teams. So he was always running the gauntlet. And, you know, he was great. Multiple, yes, he didn't win a Cy Young. I get it. Got multiple years of votes for the Cy Young Award, which is an indication of some pretty good pitching, John. And I think that
pretty good. That's not the standard.
Hey, you voted for it, all right? So
let me just say one thing.
Pretty good as
the only thing I thought was missing, he didn't have enough big moment. I know I voted for him. I'm not trying to break him down, but in terms of a slam dunk, he didn't have
they forget, Eamon.
The big moments.
How about the 3 innings of relief?
Stop. You're not going to win that argument. Let's be positive. Your reaction to the 4 players who are going to Cooperstown this summer. What did you think about? Obviously, they're deserving of those votes.
Yes, absolutely. You know, to me, Chipper was one of the biggest slam dunks of all time. I mean, I feel like, as John likes to say, the eye test. I mean, you talk about a guy that you knew you were watching something special when he played baseball. It was Chipper Jones with that incredible sweet swing. I loved his flair for the big moments. As you guys said, many Met fans remember all the crushing he did at Shea against them and in the playoffs and everything. So to me, he was, you know, I thought he could threaten the all-time record of percentage, to be honest, because nobody was not going to vote for this guy, or only very few. Jim Thome is another guy who, you know, maybe you didn't think of him as a slam dunk when you watched him play, but if you looked at the back of his baseball card and saw the numbers, I mean, higher on base percentage than Ricky Henderson. I mean, my goodness, you know, ridiculous amount of home runs, OPS. Great player, you know, wonderful representative for Cooperstown as well, because he's one of the great guys in baseball history, I believe. I thought of as a great teammate, you know, going forward. You know, Vlad Guerrero, I thought should have gotten in last year, and it's kind of a shame that he had to wait and not have that first ballot honor, but he's in there now, and rightfully so. And Trevor Hoffman kind of, you know, leads the closers. You know, we may have a wave of them coming.
Yeah, Guerrero and Chipper, to me, are the guys you watched and said, absolutely Hall of Famers. Just the athleticism, the way they played the game. Thome, for me, I had to be sold on. I have to admit, look, he's another guy. When I watched this, didn't say he's a Hall of Famer, but then you look at the home runs, 612 home runs, and the OPS, which, look, we didn't always look at that. When I started voting, I didn't look at OPS. Probably didn't know what OPS was 20 years ago. But on-base percentage plays a much bigger role now than it did then. So he gets in with the numbers. And then Hoffman, I have no problem with. Rewarding closers now, rewarding excellence for closers. But to me, the biggest issue is, if you're voting for Hoffman, why not Billy Wagner? Billy Wagner is more dominant in every number except for saves. And saves, we know, can be a bit of a flawed statistic. So, yeah, fine for Hoffman. But Wagner finished at, what, like 12% or something again. So I don't get that at all.
But certainly we'll be talking about Edgar Martinez as he comes up just short. And I think we'll hear the name Bonds and Clemens again.
You think so?
John, Anthony, thanks for stopping by.